In today's video, I'll be doing a speed run of Digital SAT Practice Test 1's math sections. This will include both section 1 and section 2. Now keep in mind that each math section on the Digital SAT, you are given 35 minutes. So I will have a total of 70 minutes to complete these two sections. Now I'm going to speed run this, so it will take way less than that. And you should also keep in mind that it's actually going to take even longer than it would take me on my own, because I'll try to explain what my thought process is as I go through this, and that'll slow me down just a little bit. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So I'll go ahead and start this timer. And I'll start with question number 1. What is 10% of 470? Well, all we got to do is 0.1 times 470. That's going to give us 47. So our answer there will be B. We can go and move on to question number 2. Which equation has the same solution as the given equation? Well, let's go ahead and subtract 6 from both sides. Okay, that'll give us 4x is equal to 12. We see all our answer choices are in terms of 4x. We don't actually have to solve for x. If we look at option C, we got 4x equals 12. All the other ones can't be right. Okay, 4x is equal to 12. Moving on to number 3, total cost in dollars to rent a surfboard consists of a $25 service fee, so $25 one-time charge, plus $10 per hour rental fee, so plus 10H. A person rents a surfboard for T hours and intends to spend a maximum of $75 to rent the surfboard. So it must be less than or equal to 75. Note that they use T instead of H, so I'll substitute T in for H. If we look at our options here, A is wrong, B, 10. The 10 needs to have T next to it. C is missing our one-time charge. And then we have D, 25 plus 10T. Okay, we can go ahead and move on to question 4. Now, one thing to note is I'm using some screen recording software that requires me to have to move every time I need to switch sides that I'm screen recording. So that's going to slow me down a fair amount as I go through this. But anyways, here's question 4. Function g is defined by g of x equals x squared plus 9, for which value of x is g of x equal to 25. 25 equals x squared plus 9. Subtract 9 from both sides. 16 equals x squared. Square root each side. 4 equals x. We're asked for the value of x. Answer there's got to be 4. We'll go ahead and move on to question number 5. Each face of a fair 14-sided die, so each side has the same probability of getting rolled, is labeled with a number 1 through 14, with a different number appearing on each face. If the die is rolled one time, what is the probability of rolling a 2? Well, a 2 is only on one of those 14 sides. We're only rolling it once, so answer there's got to be 1 over 14. Question 6, a printer produces posters at a constant rate of 42 posters per minute, so 42p over m. At what rate in posters per hour? Anything underlined, pay attention to. Does the printer produce these posters? Okay, we need to get rid of minutes, so we'll do 60 minutes per hour, and we'll get our rate of posters per hour. As you can see, minutes will cancel. We'll plug this into our calculator. It's 42 times 60. 42 times 60 is going to give us 2520. Okay, so 2520 would be our answer there. Okay, we can go ahead and move on to question number 7. Once again, got to switch sides of my screen. This is a great time to go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. Why would you not subscribe? You might as well. Here's question number 7. Function f is defined by the equation f of x equals 7x plus 2. What is the value of f of x when x is 4? Okay, we just got to plug in 4. 7 times 4 is going to give us 28, plus 2 will give us 30. So the value of f of x when x is 4 is 30. Okay, that's a 30. Let me make that 0 a little bit more clear. 30. All right, moving on to question number 8. Teacher is creating an assignment worth 70 points. Okay, so assignment's worth 70 points. The assignment will consist of questions worth 1 point and questions worth 3 points, which equation represents a situation where x represents number of 1-point questions and y represents number of 3-point questions. So 70 is going to equal number of 1-point questions, which is x, plus our number of 3-point questions times how much the 3-point questions are worth, which is 3, so plus 3y. Keep in mind it says y represents that. So we have 70 is equal to x plus 3y. 70 is equal to x plus 3y. We see that we get that in answer choice D. Okay, moving on to question number 9. Triangles. Right triangles LMN and PQR are similar. So similar triangles, L and M correspond to P and Q. Okay, so L and M correspond to P and Q. Okay, we see that we're just doing the same order there, respectively. Angle M has a measure of 53. What's the measure of angle Q? Okay, well, if angle M has a measure of 53, Q also has a measure of 53. So our answer there's got to be B. This is because they are similar triangles. So they're going to have the same angle measures at corresponding angles. Okay, switching sides of the screen again. So just give me 5 seconds to do that. Go ahead and like this video if you have not yet done that. And drop a comment letting me know your goal score for the SAT and what day you are planning on taking it. Here's question 10. Solution to the given system of equations is xy. What's the value of x? Okay, if I want to solve for the value of x, I want to get rid of y. To get rid of y here, I see I can do y minus y. So I'll subtract this bottom from the top one. Y minus y gives me 0y. I'll have negative 4x. And then I will have a negative 3x minus 15. Okay, so that's going to equal negative 3x, and then we'll have minus 15. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and combine all our terms. So we'll add 3x to this side, plus 3x will give me negative x is equal to negative 15. Okay, from there, that means x must equal 15. So what's the value of x? Answer there's got to be C, 15. Okay, and we could quickly plug in and check that as well. Okay, if we plug in 15 here, negative 3 times 15 gives us negative 45. Okay, 4 times 15 gets me 60. 60 minus 45 equals 15. Yep, we can go and move on to number 11. Scatter plot. With scatter plots, I will look to find my y-intercept and my slope. I have a negative slope, positive y-intercept around 10. Which of the following equations is the most appropriate linear model for the data shown in the scatter plot? Okay, well, we need positive y-intercepts. We get rid of A, we get rid of C. Next thing we got is these two. We need negative slopes. So our answer there's got to be B. We can go ahead and move on to number 12. Go ahead and let me switch sides on my screen. Okay, so one moment while I switch sides. All right, there's number 12. Okay, now's a great time to go ahead and send us super thanks if this video is helpful. Here's question 12. Graph of f of x is shown where the function f is defined by, and then we have this right here. A, B, C, D are constant for how many values of x f of x equals 0. F of x equals 0 here, here, and here. So how many values of x does f of x equals 0? We see that's 3 times because we cross that x-axis 3 times. Number 13, Vivian bought party hats and cupcakes for $71. Okay, so 71 is equal to the total cost. Each package of party hats costs $3, so 3 times H for hats. And each cupcake costs $1, so plus C for cupcake. If Vivian bought 10 packages of party hats, so that means H is 10, so 3 times 10. How many cupcakes did she buy? 71 is equal to 30 plus C. Subtract 30 from both sides. 41 is equal to C. Answer has got to be 41 for the number of cupcakes she bought. Always make sure you're paying attention to what you're asked to answer with. In this case, cupcakes. Number 14 now. We go ahead and switch sides again. Okay, we're at 5 minutes in right now, so that's not too bad. All right, number 14. Okay, what is one of the solutions to the given equation? We got z squared plus 10z minus this much. I'll go ahead and try factoring. I see 24 or negative 24. I would think 6 and 4, but that doesn't work with this, so let's try 12 and 2. X, that'd have to be plus 12, and that would have to be minus 2. It's equal to 0. What is one of the solutions? I'll just give you both of them. X is equal to negative 12 would be one of the solutions. Always pay attention to if it says positive or negative. In this case, it doesn't. So negative 12 could be one answer. The other answer, sorry, that should say 2, not negative 12. Okay, x plus 12x and then x minus 2. Another answer would be that x is equal to 2. Okay, moving on to number 15 now. We've got bacteria growing in a liquid growth medium. There were 300,000 cells per milliliter during an initial observation. Okay, so I'm just going to quick write that 300,000 down. Number of cells per milliliter doubles, so that's our growth factor every 3 hours. That's the denominator. How many cells per milliliter will there be 15 hours after the observation? Okay, so I've got 2 to the power of 15 over 3. That's going to be 2 to the power of 5, and then 300,000. So I'm just going to put this in my calculator. So let me just put it in my calculator now. 300,000 multiplied by 2 to the power of 5. That's going to give us 9.6 million. So our answer has got to be D. Moving on to number 16, which expression is equivalent to, and then we got all this. I'm going to go ahead and find things that have the same base. So I've got x to the power of 8, and then I've got plus 12x squared, which expression is equivalent to. Okay, it looks like we're dealing with factoring here. So let's go ahead and start factoring. We've got 6x to the power 8 and then y squared. Here we got x squared, y squared. So they both have x squared, y squared. Let's go ahead and do this one here. So we'd have to multiply x squared, y squared by x to the power 6 to get x to the power 8. And we still need a 6 out here. And then if we go, actually, let me put in the 6 with x squared, y squared. Let me do that because I can do that for both of them. 6x squared, y squared. Okay, and then that's going to be plus up here. We'd have 6x squared, y squared times 2. 6x squared, y squared multiplied by 2, I do believe. Okay, let's quick check this. We would get x to the power 8, 6x to the power 8. And then we have y squared, 6x, yeah, okay, that all looks good. We see we've got then x to the power 6 plus 2, and then 6x squared, y squared. Okay, let's go ahead and see what matches up with this. It looks like it's right here, 6x squared, y squared, x to the power 6 plus 2. So our answer has got to be C. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next question. We've got is number 17, I do believe. Which one did we just answer? 16. All right, yeah, we're on 17 now. Let me switch sides of my screen. Okay, there's 17. All right, here we go. Neighborhood consists of 2-hectare park and a 35-hectare residential area. The total number of trees in the neighborhood is 3934. Equation 2x plus 35y is equal to 3934 represents the situation. What's the best interpretation of x in the context? X is getting multiplied by the 2 hectares. That is the area of the park. And this is used to represent the total number of trees in the neighborhood, which includes the park and the residential area. So ultimately, we're multiplying 2 hectares by the number of trees per hectare. So we've got option A, average number of trees per hectare, and that's in the park specifically, since it's preceded by that 2. Okay, so our answer would have to be A, the average number of trees per hectare in the park. Okay, question 18, I gotta switch sides of my screen again, so let me do that. Should only take about 5 seconds. Now's a great time to go ahead and comment on this video if you've not already, and let me know any other videos you want me to make. Here's question number 18. Graph shows relationship between the number of shares of stock of company A, which is represented by X, and the number of shares of stock from company B, which is represented as Y, that Simone can purchase. Which equation can represent this relationship? Okay, we've got negative slope, positive y-intercept of about 40. Always pay attention, make sure you have zeros both there and there, which we do in this case. Okay, if we go down here, we've got these options here. We can get rid of option A because it's got wrong y-intercept. Same thing with C. Now we're between these two. They've got the same constant here. They're both in standard linear form. I'll check their slopes by using m equals negative A over B. If I look at option B, we got 8x plus 12y. That would give a slope of a negative 8 over 12, which is negative 2/3. Or sorry, that should say 2/3, negative 2/3. If I look at my actual slope, I'm going down by 40 and I'm going over by 60. So that'd be negative 40 over 60, which would also simplify down to negative 2 over 3. So we see our answer there would be answer choice B. We can go ahead and keep it moving. So let's go ahead and move on to number 19 now. We've got circle A's got radius 3n, circle B's got radius 129n, where n is a positive constant. The area of circle B is how many times the area of circle A? Well, since we're doing circle B's area over circle A's area, we can go ahead and write that out. Circle B's got radius 129 times n. Area of a circle is going to be pi r squared, so that'd be pi 129 n squared all over pi 3n squared. Okay, make sure you're keeping the n within the parentheses. Our pi's are going to cancel out. Okay, this is going to equal 129 times n squared, or 129 squared times n squared. And then down here, 3 squared times n squared. N squareds cancel. 129 squared over 3 squared. Put that in the calculator. That's going to give us 1849. Okay, so that's going to be answer choice D. Moving on to number 20 now. Got to switch sides of my screen. Go ahead and send a super thanks if you are enjoying this video and want to help support my channel. Otherwise, go ahead and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you're notified of any of my new videos. Here's question number 20. The frequency table summarizes 57 data values in a data set. What is the maximum data value in the data set? I've got data value, I've got frequency. I want my maximum data value. So I'm looking in this column here. The maximum data value I see is going to be 14. So my answer there for the maximum data value in the data set would be 14. Moving on to number 21, circle in the XY plane has a diameter with endpoints. This is diameter with endpoints 2, 4, and 2, 14. Equation of the circle is given here, where r is a positive constant. What is the value of r? So solving for the radius here, I have my diameter. I've got x points of 2 and 2, so I can quickly draw this out. I guess I'll just draw like this. So we've got points. Looks like, okay, x points are the same. So let's do this. We've got x point 2 and 4, and then we've got 2 and 14. So as you can see, if we draw that diameter line, we just do the difference between 4 and 14. That's a difference of 10. 10 is equal to diameter. What is the value of r? R is our radius. And we see that it's just, r squared there. So the r radius must be 5 since our diameter is 10. What is the value of r? The value of r must be 5. We can go ahead and move on to question number 22 now. So I got to switch sides again. Okay, now's a great time to go ahead and comment at one of your friends so that they can prep for the digital SAT with you. So just comment at them and they will see this video, and then you guys can maybe watch my videos together or something like that, or at the very least just help me get another subscriber because I want more subscribers. Here's 22. Measure of angle r is 2 pi over 3 radians. The measure of angle t is 5 pi over 12 radians greater than the measure of angle r. What is the measure of angle t in degrees? Anything underlined in the SAT, pay attention. We're solving for the angle t. Well, angle t in degrees, we've got it's 5 pi over 12 radians greater than this. So we'll start with this. That's 2 pi over 3 radians plus 5 pi over 12. Since we're adding fractions, we need common denominator. I'll multiply top and bottom of this right here by 4. Okay, so that's going to give us 8 pi over 12. Okay, from there, what's 8 plus 5? It's 13. We got 13 pi over 12. Okay, we need to convert this into degrees. So we multiply to get rid of our radians. So we got 180 degrees per pi radians. Pi's are going to cancel. Okay, or our radians are going to cancel. And then we're going to be left with our 13 over 12 times 180. That's going to give us 195. Obviously, it's not going to be anything less than 180, and it can't be 390. So it's got to be 195. I don't even need to put it in my calculator, but if you do put it in your calculator, I'm sure that's what you'll get. So C would be our answer there, 195. Moving on to number 23. A certain town has an area of 4.36 square miles. What is the area in square yards of this town? Anything underlined, pay attention. In this case, we got 1 mile is equal to 1760 yards, but we're dealing with squares, square miles and square yards. So to convert to square yards, we need to multiply by this conversion squared. So 4.36 times 1760 squared. I'll go ahead and put that in the calculator, see what that's going to equal. 1760 squared multiplied by 4.36. That's going to give us 135,05536. So our answer there's got to be D. Let me circle that a little bit nicer. There we go. Okay, moving on to number 24 now. Let me go ahead and switch sides on my screen again. There you go. Okay, 24. We got line H, table shows values of X and their corresponding values of Y. Line K is the result of translating line H down 5 units. Always pay attention to any sort of transformations, whether it's down, up, left, right. Okay, in this case, what is represented here is line H. Okay, we're asked a question, what is the x-intercept of line K? So let's first find what line K is. All right, so line H is here. Let's go ahead and get our slope. We're going over 5, and we are going up by 30. So 30 over 5, that's going to give us a slope of 6. So 6x will be the slope there. We want to solve for our x-intercept of line K. Our x-intercept's where y is going to equal 0. Let's just keep going then. We need to get our y-intercept for line H now. So we got slope of 6. Let's do 6 times 18. 6 times 18. That's going to give us 108. So we can go 130 right here minus 108 to get back to where x is 0. So if I was to just extend this table, let's just do it over here, right? It'd be 0 and it'd be 130 minus 108, which would leave us with 22. So from here, we have to understand that translating line H down 5 units gives us line K. So we have to go down 5 units. So that would leave us with 17 as the y-intercept. Now keep in mind, we've got, what does it say? Line K is the result of translating it down 5 units. So we're gonna have the same slope still. 6x is equal to y. This is line K. I'll just label that for you. Okay, line K is represented here. What is the x-intercept? X-intercept's where y is equal to 0, which all of our answer choices obviously have. So we'll go ahead and we'll subtract 17 from both sides. Negative 17, 6x. X equals negative 17 over 6. Okay, that'll be answer choice D. We can go ahead and move on to question number 25 now. Let me go ahead and switch sides on my screen again. Okay, switching sides. There it is. Now's a great time to go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. If you're watching this on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, just stay on YouTube. I don't want you going to TikTok right now. Here's 25. In the xy plane, the graph of the equation y equals negative x squared plus 9x minus 100 intersects the line y equals c at exactly 1 point. What's the value of c? Okay, so we need to find our minimum value here, I do believe. So looking at this, is this easy to factor? Not really. I'm just going to use Desmos. This is the digital SAT, so totally fine to do that. Questions like this, I think, are good times to use Desmos, so I'll go ahead and do that. All right, so we've got our equation is negative x squared plus 9x minus 100. Oh, negative x squared. Let me back up. Okay, negative x squared plus 9x minus 100. Okay, let's go ahead and find this. All right, there it is. Okay, we're asked for where the line y equals c intersects. Okay, so it looks like that's going to be at negative 79.75. Negative 79.75, so not negative 100. This would be like negative 4.5, so that's not it. Negative 319 over 4 would look like that's closest. I'll quick pop that in the calculator. Okay, I know that A is going to be wrong, so C's got to be my answer there. I'll just quick double check. 319 over 4, that's going to give us 79.75. Obviously, they're both negative, as you can see in Desmos, and then also on the answer choice C. So we got question 25. Let me go ahead and hide Desmos now. Okay, Desmos is available on the digital SAT within Blue Book, so that's why I am able to use it here. Here's question number 26. I will also point out that the reason I used it there is because I didn't see a quick way to factor. Sometimes it's just like there might be an easy way to factor, but you just don't recognize it quickly. And in that case, just go to Desmos. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter that much. Here's 26. For each real number R, which of the following points lies on the graph of each equation in the XY plane for the given system? Okay, so we got a bunch of points here. Really, the only way to solve this is with substitution. I will see if we look at option or our 2, I'll just put 1, 2, so you know what I'm referring to here. Looking at this, I see that if we multiply 2 by 5, we get 10, 3 by 5, get 15, 7 by 5, you get 35. So what you want to look for in questions where you have substitution on a given system is try to see if like whatever is a solution for, number 1 is also going to be a solution for number 2 automatically. And if it's just multiplying, each coefficient and constant by the same number, which it is in this case of 5, then they have to be the same, or they don't have to be the same, but they're like any solution that is a solution to 1 will also be a solution to 2 is the best way to put it. So therefore, if something is a solution to 1, it's automatically a solution to 2 since all those coefficients and constants are multiplied by 5. So we actually only have to check on if something is a solution to 1 or 2 and it'll automatically be a solution to the other. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's go ahead and start with substitution. I'm not going to start with ones that, for 1, I'm going to try to substitute in this equation because it's much easier with 2s and 3s than 10s, 15s, and 35s. And then number 2, I'm going to look to start with things that are going to cancel out easily. So I have a 2 here. So I look for things with an x that's over 2, which I see are right here. And I also look for things that have a y that's over 3, which I see is right here. So these would be the first 2 that I'd be looking at. We can go ahead and start with this one, and then we'll go to B. And then we've got D here over 2s, but this is over 3s. And then up here, we've got over 5s, which would be difficult. So we'd probably go 1, 2, 3, and then 4 in terms of the order we'll do this. So let's go ahead and do it number 1. So we've got a 2r plus, keep in mind, these are going to cancel out with this 3. So then we're going to have 2r plus 7. Okay, so 2r plus 7. Okay, is that equal to 7? Well, no, because we're going to end up with this 4r. Okay, so 4r plus 7 is not equal to 7. Therefore, we can go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so option number C has to be wrong. We can go look at B now. So we're going to have this 2. It'll cancel out with those. So we'll be left with negative 3r plus 7. And then we've got also plus 3 times r. Okay, negative 3r plus 3r cancels, 7 equals 7. Since it's a solution for 1, it's also going to be a solution to 2. So B's got to be our answer there. Moving on to number 27. Just a quick note on that. Substitution questions do take longer, as you can see. So you want to be smart about the way that you approach the answer choices or the order in which you substitute them in. Here's 27. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle is 624 meters or centimeters. The height of the triangle is k root 3, where k is a constant. What is the value of k? Okay, so we've got perimeter is 624. Okay, we know the perimeter is the sum of all the side lengths, so 624 is our perimeter. Height of the triangle is k root 3. We can quickly draw this out. We know it's an equilateral triangle, so it'll look something like this: right angle, 30, 30, 60, 60, since it's equilateral. Okay, 60, 30, 90 triangle. We know our height's k root 3. Height's k root 3, which means that this has to be k. Okay, this has to be k. Sum of this has to be 2k. Okay, so all that's 2k. It's equilateral, so those are all 2k as well. What is the value of k? We can go ahead and do that's all equal to 6k. We'll divide both sides by 6 to get the value of k, since that's what we need to answer with. K is going to equal 624 over 6. Quick plug that in the calculator. 624 over 6, 104. K is going to be 104. All right, so there's section 1. Let's go ahead and move on to section 2 now. Okay, so section 2, so that was looks like about 21 minutes. I'm not sure exactly what it is because obviously I have to sort of start the recording and then get things set up, but it looks like it's around 20 minutes since we started, or I'm sorry, around 21 minutes since we started. But let's go ahead and keep rolling. So we've got number 1 now, switch sides. Okay, I'll try to give a little bit less explanations. I've noticed I've been talking a lot, and I'll try to just keep moving quicker. Here's Tilly earns P dollars for every W hours of work, which expressions represents the amounts of money Tilly earns for 39 W hours of work. Okay, well, 39 W hours of work. Sorry, that should be 39. Let me erase that. Should be 39 W hours of work. It's the amount she works. She earns P dollars per every W hours of work. So P dollars per W hours of work. W is canceled. The amount she'll get paid is 39P. 39P. Okay, so answer there's got to be A. Moving on to number 2. For a training program, Juan rides his bike at an average rate of 5.7 minutes per mile. Which function M models the number of minutes it will take Ron to ride X miles at his rate? Well, every mile that he rides adds on another 5.7 minutes. There's no like initial amount, so that would just be M of X is equal to 5.7 minutes per mile, 5.7X. And so there's got to be D. We're not dealing with any sort of, Y's or anything and no division. Moving on to number 3. We've got, let me go ahead and switch sides of my screen once again. I'm guessing just switching sides of my screen has probably taken up a lot of time on this video, but anyways, it's not a big deal because it gives you a chance to subscribe every time. Anyway, here's number 3. The solution to the given system of equations is x, y. What's the value of y? Okay, I see I've got 3x and negative 3x. I'll go ahead and sum these, get rid of my 3x's. Then I'm going to be left with y is equal to 12 minus 6, which means the value of y must be 6. Moving on, we got number 4. We've got x is equal to 40 plus 3t. Equation gives speed in miles per hour of a certain car 2 seconds after it began to accelerate. What is the speed in miles per car of the car 5 seconds after it began to accelerate? Just plugging in 5 for t. 3 times 5 is 15. 40 plus 15 is 55. Answer there's got to be D. We can go ahead and move on to number 5. I'm going to go ahead and switch sides on my screen again. Okay, here's number 5. Looks like we got a triangle with A, C, and B. Right triangle shown. A is 4, B is 5. Which expression represents the value of C? That's going to be root 4 squared plus 5 squared. Root 4 squared plus 5 squared. Okay, that's a D. Number 6, what's the solution to the given equation? Subtract 5 from both sides. 160 is 4x. Divide both sides by 4. X is going to have to equal 40. That's the solution. Moving on to number 7. Going ahead and switching sides on my screen again. Okay, go ahead and get the right. There it is. All right. X-intercept of the graph is shown. X0. What's the value of X? Okay, well, we got 0 for that Y value, which means it's right there. We see that that's going to be between 6 and 8, so it'd be at 7. What is the value of X? That'd be 7. Moving on to number 8. We got function f defined by f of x equals 1/10 x minus 2. What is the y-intercept of the graph y equals f of x in the xy plane? No transformations. Looking for the y-intercept. Well, our y-intercept is going to be where x is 0, so I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of this. Okay, if x is 0, and then I get 0 and -2, so 0 and -2, answer there's got to be B. Moving on to number 9. I got to switch sides on my screen again. Okay, now's a great time to go and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Okay, I've got a ton of digital SAT prep content. So please go ahead and make sure to subscribe. Here's question number 9. Function f is defined by f of x equals 7x cubed in the xy plane. The graph of y equals g of x is the result. Okay, we got a transformation as a result of shifting y equals f of x down by 2 units. Okay, so the new one then would have to be down 2 units. So -2, which function defines g of x? G of x is going to have to equal 7x cubed minus 2. 7x cubed minus 2. That's going to be answer choice D. We can go and move on to number 10 now. Got x plus y is equal to 10, or I'm sorry, x plus 7 is equal to 10, x plus 7 squared is equal to y, which ordered pair x, y is the solution to the given system of equations. Okay, if x plus 7 is equal to 10, I can plug in 10 there. I get 10 squared is equal to y. Y then must equal 100. Since 10 squared is 100, only option with y is 100 is answer choice A. Moving on to number 11 now. So let me go ahead and switch sides of my screen again. Okay, here's number 11. Got which expression is equivalent to, and then we've got 7x cubed plus 7x, and then all this stuff. So let's go ahead and start with this 7x. 7x minus -3x, that's the same as 7x plus 3x. That's going to give us positive 10x. 7x cubed minus 6x cubed will leave us with 1x cubed. So we would have, just double check again, minus it's a plus. Yep, x cubed plus 10x. X cubed plus 10x, that's answer choice A. Moving on to number 12. Function p is defined by p of n is equal to 7n cubed. What is the value of n when p of n is equal to 56? 56 is equal to 7n cubed. Divide both sides by 7. This will give us, what is 56 over 7? That'd be 8. 8's equal to n cubed. 2 must equal n when you take the third root of each of those. Answer there's got to be A. Since we're just asked for the value of n, always pay attention to what you're asked to answer with, because sometimes it'll be something like n plus 1 or n plus 2 or something like that, just to trip you up in case you don't look at that. Moving on to number 13. As you can see, I'm trying to give some good explanations as I go through this. Number 13 now, we've got in the figure shown, line C intersects parallel lines S and T. What's the value of X? Okay, just got to solve for X. Parallel lines, these lines or these angles correspond to each other. So 180 minus 110 leaves us with 70 as the value of X. Going on to number 14, list of 10 data values is shown. What is the mean of these data? Oh my goodness, they're going to make me sum these when I'm doing a speed run. That's brutal. All right, well, I'm going to put it in my calculator. I'm not going to write it down. It's going to be 6 plus 8 plus 16 plus 4 plus 17 plus 26 plus 8 and then plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. And that's all over. How many do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 10. So 100 divided by 10, that's going to give us 10 then as the mean of the data. So the mean is going to be 10. Okay, that's a 10 right there. Okay, moving on to question number 15 now. Got to switch sides again. Okay, there's 15. We got the equation E of t is equal to 5 times 1.8. T gives the estimated number of employees, where T is the number of years since the restaurant opened. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 5 in the context? Okay, this is just exponential growth. Okay, 5 is that initial value. So that's when the projected number of employees when the restaurant first opens. We have option A, estimated number of employees when the restaurant opened. Yes. Moving on to number 16. What is the minimum value of the given function? Okay, x squared is always going to be adding, and then we have plus 55. We can't get less than 55 because obviously x squared is always positive. So minimum value has got to be 55. All right, moving on to number 17. Got to switch sides of my screen again. Now's a great time to go ahead and hit that like button if you have not. Hopefully you are liking this video and enjoying it. Here's 17. Each year, the value of an investment increases by 0.49% of its value the previous year. Since we're increasing by 1% of our value the previous year, this will be exponential. Which of the following functions best models how the value of the investment changes over time? Okay, well, it can't be linear. It's got to be exponential, and it also has to be increasing since it says that it increases in value. So increasing exponential, okay, the reason is it's based on a percentage of the prior year value. That's exponential growth as long as it's increasing in value. And here's number 18 now. Okay, we got 18. Population of Greenville increased by 7% from 2015 to 2016. If the 2016 population is K times 2015 population, what's the value of K? Okay, so I'm just going to write 2015 population as X so you understand what I'm thinking here. Okay, it's just old population. We're increasing by 7%. So times 1.7 is equal to 2016 population, which we'll just call Y. Okay, what's the value of K? Well, it's K times the 2015. As you can see, we're multiplying that by 1.07, so K would be 1.07. So there's a quick explainer there. Here's 19, which expression is equivalent to a to the power of 11 over 12, where a is positive. I've got in my answer choices, nowhere do I just have the 12th root of a to the power of 11, which would be what I would expect, but that's not the case. All of these have 132. So how do I get 11 to 132? Well, let me try 132 over 11 in my calculator. 132 over 11, it's 12, so I need to multiply by 1 over 1, but obviously we got to do 12 over 12 to get that numerator of 132. So that would give us a to the power of 132 over 144. If I look at my options, then I got to have answer choice B. Moving on to number 20. Let me go ahead and switch sides on my screen again. Okay, here is number 20. We've got an event planner is planning a party. It costs the event planner a one-time fee of $35 to rent the venue and $10.25 per attendee. I'll represent that as A. The event planner has a budget of $200. What is the greatest number of attendees possible without exceeding the budget? Okay, let's go ahead and subtract 35 from both sides. 165 must be greater than or equal to 10.25A. Divide both sides by 10.25. 165 over 10.25. It's going to give us 16.09. 16.09. We need to be less than or equal to that. Therefore, our answer there for the maximum number of attendees would be 16. Moving on, we've got absolute value. If 4x minus 4 in absolute value is equal to 112, what is the positive value? Always pay attention to positive, negative, things like that. Of x minus 1. So keep in mind, we're not answering with x, we're answering with x minus 1. Let's go ahead and do this extremely quickly. So 4x minus 4. 4x minus 4 is equal to 112. Add 4 to each side, 116. Okay, is equal to 4x, divide both sides by 4. Okay, 116 divided by 4. That'll give us 29. Did I put that in my calculator right? Yeah, that would be right. Okay. Yeah, so 4x minus 4, add 4 to each side, 116, divide both sides by 4. That'll give us 29 as the value of x. Okay, that's perfect because we need the positive value of x minus 1. So 29 minus 1, that'll give us 28. Okay, so our answer there's got to be 28. That's an 8 right there, 28. All right, moving on to number 22. Cube has an edge length of 68 inches. Okay, so I'll just quickly draw a cube, 68. Yeah, just pretend that's a cube, whatever. All right, a solid sphere with a radius of 34 inches. Let me draw that a little bit bigger. Anyway, solid sphere, radius 34 inches. Is inside the cube such that the sphere touches the center of each face of the cube to the nearest cubic inch. What is the volume of the space in the cube not taken up by the sphere? Always pay attention to words that are underlined on the SAT. Okay, so we've got, let's first calculate the volume of the cube. So that's going to be, since it's a cube and the side length is 68, that'd be 68 cubed minus volume of the sphere. So that's going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. Our radius is 34 pi r cubed. All right, let's put this in the calculator, see what we get. Okay, so 68 cubed minus 4/3 multiplied by pi multiplied by 34 to the power of 3. That'll give us 149,795, 149,795. So A. All right, we can go and move on to number 23 now. Okay, let me try to get up there. Switch sides again. Okay, now's a great time to go ahead and drop a comment letting me know what your goal score is and when you're planning to take the digital SAT. Here's question 23. What is the diameter of a circle in the XY plane with this equation? Okay, we need to solve for diameter. We know that this right here is going to give us our radius. So we take the square root of that will get our radius squared. So to get to our radius, we do 16 equals r squared. Therefore, we take square root of each side. Our radius then must be 4. We're asked for the diameter. Okay, keep in mind, not the radius, even though they try to bait you with this 4. Okay, the diameter will be 8 since d is equal to 2r, so d has to be equal to 8. Okay, moving on to number 24 now. Looks like we got, for the exponential function f, the value of f of 1 is k, where k is a constant. Which of the following equivalent forms of the function? F shows the value of k as a coefficient or base. Okay, well, if f of 1 is k, let's go ahead and start putting in 1 for x. Here we have 1 plus 1, which gives us the power of 2. 1.6 to the power of 2 times 50 will not equal any of the coefficients or bases. Here we'd have 1.6 to the power of 1 times 80. Same thing there. It would end up being something greater than 80. And then right here in C, we'd get 1 minus 1. That'll give us power of 0. 1.6 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Therefore, you'd end up with 1 times 128, and you would end up with f of 1 being 128. So C would have to be our answer, since we do end up equaling out that coefficient of 128 when we have f of 1. All right, so from there, we can go ahead and move on to number 25. So let me go ahead and switch sides on my screen once more. Okay, here is number 25. And I said once more, which I feel like kind of made it sound like we're done, but we're not yet. We still have a couple more questions. A model estimates that at the end of each year from 2015 to 2020, the number of squirrels in the population was 150% more than the number of squirrels in the population at the end of the previous year. Okay, keep in mind that's more than the number of squirrels in the population at the end of the previous year. Model estimates at the end of 2016. Keep in mind that this says 2016, but our start year is 2015, so that's a red flag. There were 180 squirrels in the population, which the following equations represents the model, where n is the estimated number of squirrels in the population t years after the end of 2015, and t must be less than or equal to 5. Okay, so we know that our initial value is not actually 180 because that's at the end of 2016, but we start this model at the end of 2015. So C and D have to be wrong, so our initial must be 72. Now we need to determine our growth factor since the exponents are both the same. It says that the number of squirrels in the population was 150% more than the number of squirrels in the population at the end of the previous year. Since it's 150% more, we have to have 2.5 as the growth factor. If it was 50% more, then it would be A, but it's not. It's 150% more. Okay, and we got 2 questions left. We got 26 and 27. Let me go ahead and switch sides on my screen. Okay, I'm trying to give good explanations as I go through this, and it's definitely slowing me down, but that's okay because I want you guys to actually understand what I'm thinking. Here's 26. In the given pair of equations, A and B are constants. The graph of the pair of equations, the xy plane is a pair of perpendicular lines. Okay, which of the following pairs of equations also represents a pair of perpendicular lines? Okay, and then we've got all of these. So we can't just look at these because they're going to utilize, it looks like, the value of A and B in all of them. So we need to know A and B. So let's go ahead and solve for A and B. It says that they are perpendicular, therefore they must have the negative reciprocals. Okay, and here they're both in standard linear forms, which means we can use the slopes negative A over B. So the slope of this top equation would be negative 5 over 7. Therefore, the slope in this bottom equation would have to be positive 7 over 5, which would mean that A would have to be a negative 7. And then over here, we would have to have a positive 5. So negative 7 and then positive 5. Okay, and the reason why it's got to be negative 7 is keep in mind it's negative A over B. So that would give us that positive 7 over 5. Okay, now what you notice here is that we've got a 7 and a negative 7 and then a 5 and a positive 5. So all you're doing is switching the number in front of the x to the number in front of the y, and the number in front of the y up here into the number in front of the x. And then you have to change only one of the signs. If you change both of the signs, you're not going to get the negative part of the negative reciprocal because the sign won't change. So we can use this to move quickly. Okay, like we see that A is going to equal negative 7. We know that B is going to equal positive 5. So we can go ahead and put in our A is negative 7. Okay, that's good. And then a positive 5. Okay, this, well, it does end up being the 10 switches and the 7 switches. We have 2 sign changes, so A is wrong. We can only have 1 sign change. Here we get a negative 7 there, so we get 1 sign change. And then here we get plus 5 times 2, which is 10. So now we get 10y and 10x, and then we have 7y and negative 7x. So we do get the sign change, and we are switching the coefficients. So B's got to be our answer there. Moving on to our other question on this page, which is 27. So I got to switch sides again. Here's 27. We got in the given equation, C is a constant. The equation has no real solutions. If C is greater than n, what is the least possible value of n? Okay, so no real solutions. It's a quadratic. It's set equal to 0, which means that in order for there to be no real solutions, b squared minus 4ac must be less than 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug in. B is going to be negative 34. Negative 34 squared minus 4 times a is just 1, times c, which is just represented as c. What's the least possible value of n? C is greater than n. Okay, from here, pretty easy. Let's go ahead and add 4c to both sides. 4c must be greater than negative 34 squared. Let's plug in negative 34 squared. 34 squared is going to give us 1156. Negative 34 squared is the same as 34 squared since it's getting squared. So 1156 must be less than 4c. Divide both sides by 4. Okay, divide both sides by 4. 1156 over 4 gives us 289. Okay, so we got 289 must be less than c. We know that n must be less than c. What is the least possible value of n? Okay, we can pretty much just write this right below it, right? C must be greater than n. Well, what's the least possible value of n then? 289. So answer has got to be 289. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and consider sending a super thanks to help support my channel. Additionally, please drop a comment below letting me know what videos you want me to make in the future. And if you are looking for additional educational services that I offer, please check out my website, haydenrhodea.com.